Every week, we break down real estate investing with real deals, real numbers, and real strategies you can actually use.
And I'm learning right alongside you. We'll ask the questions beginners are afraid to ask and show you what it really takes to build wealth through real estate.
Whether you're buying your first property or your 50th, welcome to BrickFolio. Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing, Brian?
Man, I am doing great. It can only be better if I was on the golf course. But hey, this is pretty fun too.
Yes, absolutely.
This morning we have a phenomenal guest.
I'm excited.
All our guests are phenomenal, but
If he's half as good as you say that he is,
so
I'm in for a
look,
treat.
so I'm going to introduce our guest. He's probably one of the most humble people I know. He's an ultimate go-giver. He is. I can't say that on air, can I?
You can say
I'm gonna
whatever.
say it.
We are not regulated by the
He
FCC.
is the big daddy. He is the big daddy deal maker. But Jim Ingersoll is our guest this morning from Richmond, Virginia. He's going to be at our meetup tonight. He started the whole deal maker movement, and he's very humble about it. But he has an incredible meetup annually in Richmond, and he may talk about that a little bit today, hopefully. But Jim, welcome.
It is awesome to be here, and what an incredible studio.
We got it. Wait for the applause, please, Jim. Please. The people are going crazy for you.
Amazing. This is an awesome podcast studio.
Isn't it
Thanks
great?
for having me.
Yeah, well, we're thankful you came out. Thanks for finally coming to Mississippi to be at our meeting. I'm excited.
It's been a little while. I've been to Mississippi quite a few times, to
Yep.
Jackson. And it's really nice to be back.
It's good to have you back. So I think this morning, maybe just give us a little bio on and where you came from, how you got started, and if you want to talk about, we'll ask a few questions, and if there's anything specific you want to get into. This isn't, as Daniel says, this isn't TV, so it's not scripted.
That's right.
It's raw and just from the heart.
We have no idea what we're talking about today, as far as the script is concerned, so to speak.
So I'll turn it over to you, Jim. Just tell us, give us your background, where you're from. I know where you're from, but for our audience, just where you're from and kind of how you got started. And
Okay.
all right.
Well, Jim Ingersoll, it is great to be here with you today, Brian. I love being with you and Amy and
Appreciate you, brother.
cheering you guys on for DealMaker Jackson, of course, and your awesome coaching program and so much that you guys are doing. And it seems like yesterday you were quitting your job, and now look, like it was
I know.
snapped your fingers and made it happen.
I know. And you know what? It during the journey, it sure didn't seem that way.
No, it never does, right?
It doesn't, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. In fact, the first event we went to after I got free of my job, October 8th, 2021, we were at DealMaker Gary.
That's amazing. Love it. So like you, my background was engineering. I was an electrical engineer. Also did telecom for a while, did aerospace also quite a while, and then ended up running 2 factories in the end. My last corporate job was running 2 factories that built doors and windows back into sort of the housing thing. And when we had to close down those 2 factories and lay everybody off, I said, that's it. I would have had to relocate. It's like we were talking about right before. And I'm like,
Right.
there's no way I'm going to relocate. Not going to do that to my kids and to Cheryl. And that was it. I had to find some other way, burned that bridge and moved on.
What year was that, Jim?
It was about 20 years ago, so it would have been roughly 2006.
Okay.
Yeah. Time really flies, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And before that, like Cheryl and I grew up in Jamestown, New York. It's a small town near Buffalo.
Yep.
And when I was working as an engineer, I watched my dad build a small portfolio of houses. He was an architect and didn't really understand what he was doing at the time. But when Cheryl and I got married, she was 19, I was 21. And soon after that, watching my dad, we decided to buy our own duplex. And it was in Jamestown, and it was roughly, say, 20 grand. You think $10,000 a door, what could possibly go wrong? Easy money, good cash flow, right? But
Sounds
no,
like it.
I mean, but it was difficult because it needed a lot of work. Property that cheap needs
Mhm.
work, even back in 90 or whatever it was.
Right.
It needed a tremendous amount of work, and we didn't have the capital to do it. So we ended up doing a lot of the work ourselves, and it's a horrible property manager. I had no training. That was before Facebook and YouTube and all the other, easy access training we have now. There was no AI back then. And so I would work all day, and then I would meet tenants after work. And if they had a pulse and a deposit, they could move in. What could possibly go wrong? So everything went wrong, of course, eventually. And then I took a job transfer to Virginia, and I had to get rid of the property. And I sold it on a land trust, land contract, and they had a refi set right up, and everything got paid off. We actually didn't even lose, but it was such a incredibly stressful property to own for those 2 or 3 years. The Cheryl said, "Don't ever try this again." So that was my start of real estate.
Well, I bet she's glad you didn't listen to her.
Well, I listened to her for quite a while.
Okay.
And those, 8 years or whatever it was.
Okay. So it was 8. So from the
It
time you
had to
sold it,
be,
the time you got back into it was 8 years.
I would say, at least 8.
Okay. And how'd you get back into it? What was the catalyst?
Well, different market, different time.
Right.
And so we started in Richmond then, and um, can't remember exactly. Somebody asked me recently, Chuck Glover, he was on my boat a couple weeks ago. He's like, "How did you find your first property and how did you pay for it?" I said, "I don't really remember. I think it was on the MLS, and I probably got some sort of a conventional loan. I don't really know. Can't recall. 20 years ago is a long time.
Sure.
But it was in a area that I thought was going to eventually gentrify, and it did. And so we rehabbed this property. I found some contractors and learned as I went, and we rehabbed this house, and it was beautiful. And we owned that house really a long time, and it went pretty well. We tried to flip it, by the way, Brian, and nobody wanted to buy it.
Oh boy.
Best thing that could ever happen.
You held it.
Became an accidental landlord again,
There you go.
and it was amazing. And probably 10 to plus years later, it like doubled or tripled in value.
Wow.
And so the rest became history. When I left corporate America in 2006, I did it with wholesaling.
Okay.
I had to quickly replace active income,
Right.
and that's how I did it. And similar, the start of wholesaling was horrible too, because
So,
everything I tried to do failed for
yeah.
months.
Well, it took us 10, 11 months to do our first deal.
Yeah.
But we knew it would work, and we just weren't going to quit. We never even considered quitting. So let me ask you, Jim, so you were wholesaling for how long? How many months, years were you wholesaling before you could like replace your income?
A couple years.
A couple years?
I
Okay.
wholesaled a lot.
Okay.
Year one out of corporate America, we wholesaled over 100 houses.
Wow.
And then year two, we wholesaled 80. I remember that.
Okay.
And then I'm like, this is crazy.
Work.
It's a lot of work, and assignment fees were cheap back then.
What was your
They-
what was your average
like
assignment?
$3,500 or
Wow.
something.
Wow.
Really cheap. It was a lot different.
Yeah.
So, and at the same time, like I said, when I was an engineer and I didn't have a clue and I had to do my own repairs, and everything went wrong, it was, just me trying to work hard to get through it.
Yeah.
The second time we came back through, I got around like-minded people that were already doing it. And I remember going the first time was to Tampa, and I met Jack Miller. Then I went back for Peter Fortunato and John Schaub and some of these people.
Mm.
And when I first started going to those, like I was leaving my job, and like my heart said yes, but my wallet, my checkbook said, this is not a good idea. And I remember Cheryl saying, just go. And you get around the right people that encourage you to think big and to think, like believe in yourself that you can do it.
Yep.
And smart people that are willing to like leave those egos at the door and like reach out their hand and pull you up.
Yep.
And then everything started to come together.
Yeah. So in corporate America, like they don't do that, right?
No.
Because you're all competing for the same job, right? So they say, "Oh yeah, you're not a family. It's not a
No.
family there. A family, lifts you up, right? Like when I met Jim, first time I met Jim, I think it was like back in maybe 21 or 22. Let's see, 22, I think we went first DealMaker. I mean, this is a guy doesn't know me from Adam. And I felt like after meeting him, I'm like, man, this guy's just gonna give you the shirt off his back.
Right.
That don't happen in corporate America.
No.
Let me just tell you right now. You're all competing for the same. If you're in the same line with your boss, guess what? Like, he has to move on before you can get up and and then everyone else is jockeying for
It's a
position.
lot of politics.
It's a lot of politics, which
Yeah,
I
and-
miss none of it.
Yeah, and your complete life can be ripped out from underneath you, and like you described yesterday, like just like that.
Well, yeah, you can hit back and hit a 2x4. You lose your job, and then all of a sudden, you're thinking you have security, but it's misplaced trust, right? I'm not going to disclose names here, but I met with a person yesterday, and they're incredibly frustrated, right? And talking about real estate and talking about what we did, and I explained to the person. I said, I can't even remember how I did this with a job. And I explained it to her. I explained to her, I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said, it's gonna be painful. You're gonna have to sacrifice time. You're not gonna come home and feel like, you don't want to make phone calls and call sellers, or maybe you have a cold call, or maybe you're gonna do mail. You're gonna have to work off hours, right? I mean, that's what I did. You probably did the same thing.
Absolutely.
And but here's the thing, right? And Jim, I want you to extrapolate on this. You need a why. You need a really strong why, right? Because when motivation goes away, the only thing left is discipline. And you got to have a reason big enough that's going to push.
Yeah, I always say your why should make you cry.
Nice.
But really, it's deeper than just saying, oh, it's for my family. It's for my financial freedom. It's got to really go a lot deeper than that.
I agree.
Like, you got to search. Same thing with gratitude. Like, anybody can say they're grateful. And then they just start at the surface. But then as you go deeper and you have different experiences, it becomes real. Like you were just sharing with me that Amy's going to Honduras. When she comes back from Honduras, her level of gratitude is going to be like through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Because I go to Central America a lot with Share the Love, and we take for granted clean water and stuff like that.
When I was in the Air Force, I did 4 tours of Saudi. What I say after Desert Storm 1, before Desert Storm 2. I don't think that's the official name of Desert Storm 2, but every time I got on that plane and got back, I was like, wow, we're so blessed to live in America. I mean, we certainly have our share of problems, don't get me wrong, but the hand of God is still on this country, and we have so much to be for. I'm thankful for you, brother. I mean, the opportunities the doors you've opened for us, allowing us to speak at your events, and just your support, your encouragement constantly. I mean,
Well, back at you.
so.
And we all love you and Amy. I mean, you
I
guys are givers and
that.
go-givers yourself.
So, Jim, let's get back. Let's talk about, so you were wholesaling and got free of your job. And then once you got free of your job, would you agree that?
Well, can I ask?
Yeah. Go ahead.
What's your why, Jim?
I don't know. I think it's changed over the years. I mean, currently my why is more like impact driven. Like I want to see other people do what Brian did. Like build that furnished rental portfolio
Right.
and live the life of their dreams. So like it's changed for me over the years. I think when I first started and I left corporate America, my why was survival. My kids were in middle school.
It's a good why.
Like I'm thinking like I've got to get them through college. I had goals of them not having college debt. Like I was going to pay for their college. And I'm thinking, I just lost a great W-2 job. Now what? So it was survival for a while. But then, it shifts. It shifts. Currently, it's more impact, more about other people.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, obviously, the first why is to get yourself in a position where you don't have to work for anybody except for yourself. And when you're not chasing money and you generate cash flow, it's a different. And I want to be, we want to be good stewards, obviously, of everything: our time, our money, our talents. We want to be good examples to our boys. I've got one that's really interested, another one starting to get interested. People watch. They may not be talking to you, but they're watching you. And it's not what you say, it's what you do that matters, right? Actions speak louder than words. So, but Daniel's a newbie. Daniel,
Yes.
I love it. Well, both our daughters invest a lot.
Okay.
So I'm working with them literally every single day.
Wow, they got a great mentor too. Let me
Yeah,
just tell you.
Yeah,
they
that's
probably
pretty
get tired of
awesome,
me
man.
maybe, but
So they
no,
got
it's an honor. I mean, that like a father's dream to be able to work with his kids, and now my grandkids are starting to wonder, like,
who is this guy?
yeah, no, they don't know anything about.
They don't-
Well, they'll see like my YouTube shorts maybe when they're
Yeah.
flipping YouTube, but that's kind of weird. But they will be like, how do you flip a house? Like, do you actually turn it over? So I said, sometimes they go upside down.
Yeah,
Close.
no kidding. So
Wait,
you know,
hold on. There we go. There we go.
so you know, we defined wholesaling as the art of finding off-market properties at a discount, right? That's really what it is. So Daniel, you know, you have to learn how to identify a deal, right? You have to know the numbers. You have to, you know, but the most important thing, like when you're, is really just building rapport with people. Well, you know, people say well, the real estate's really it really is a people business, right? Like when you sit down, like Bill Cook, like I heard this at his options course a couple of years ago. Bill Cook knocks doors, right?
Mhm.
And he says if he gets into a house and gets to the kitchen table, he has a 90% plus chance of doing a deal. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty great.
and that is because he's not there to buy a house. He's there to solve problems,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you'll hear the same thing from Leon Johnson tonight,
Yeah, Leon's
who's tremendous
amazing.
at building relationships
Oh,
and just a great listener.
yep,
He'll negotiate with you without even knowing it's happening.
yep. So after wholesaling, take us down the road here a little bit.
Well, then I started flipping, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had a house that I was flipping that sort of fell through, and realized I could just keep it. So I started building a rental portfolio from there. So
Okay.
for quite a few years, and of course, I went through the economic shift. A
Oh
lot of
wait,
people didn't make that.
2008.
Saw a lot of good people fall and not ever recover. Yeah, '08, 9, 10, those are tough years. But then something magical happened, and that's that you didn't need wholesalers anymore because you could just buy any house you want off the MLS. And that was an amazing opportunity. It's like going to the grocery store, you buy a loaf of bread. Oh, I'll buy that fixer upper, that one, and that one. There was unlimited supply of really cheap property because everything got foreclosed.
Wow.
So that was like a huge generational wealth transfer
Yeah.
in those years if you could figure out how to survive yourself. I remember, Brian, those were tough years for all of us. And
I've
if
heard
somebody tells you
stories.
they weren't, they're lying to you. Like I remember I was getting up for a long time at 5 o'clock in the morning and I would journal. I remember one of my journal entries was like, all I see is walls around me and I got to figure out like how I'm going to pound through it or go over top of it because I'm not going to retreat. Like I just got to figure it out. And that's kind of the journey that led into private money and other things.
Hmm. But you know, Lisa Englehart has a saying, everything's figure outable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's another person we're going to have on the podcast. She is amazing.
she is.
Unbelievable builder. Anyway, I digress.
Oh, Lisa's the bomb. I mean, we all
She
love
is.
Lisa.
We were in her mastermind for a while. She is incredible.
She's great.
We love Lisa. But so let's see, we got a lot of time here.
Oh, we got a plethora.
So so you got into buy and holds, and
Mhm.
obviously that's kind of been, and you got some furnished rentals too, like us. Little different segment maybe you're going after than we are, but
I mean, I've been
Um,
doing furniture rental quite a while. Elle really helped us a lot, all of us, at the beginning of that journey.
who did?
Elle Williamson.
Oh yeah,
He
Al.
came to DealMaker,
Okay.
and after that, after he was here, I realized that I had two houses on one lot.
Mm.
It was a 3-bedroom house, and I had a 1-1. And it was like an ADU, and I've been like, I didn't really know what to do with the ADU. And after DealMaker, I'm like, I'm going to furnish it and rent it. All of a sudden, my cash flow like more than doubled.
Yeah, that's a good
And
thing.
so I love furnished rentals now.
And you have what, all 1 and 2 bedrooms primarily?
I have a lot of duplexes that I'm doing furnished rentals in, which is a little different.
Yeah. Well, I know like Tom and Becky, Tom loves like 4 and 5 plexes where they're
Yeah.
at.
Me too.
1 payment, five
Me too.
revenue streams. and you can do them, and they cater to a lot of the BP oil workers, so they get a little less for theirs, but I mean that still works well. We're more we focus more on the two bedroom plus. We're focused on, I think, a little different clientele, but your market really drives what that. I mean, you get a lot of medical, a lot of nurses, you get some contractors too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, we have contractors. I have somebody building a house right now.
Reload, yeah, that's good.
I have somebody else that is working on their house, and we thought it was going to be 3 months, and she's almost up to a year.
Wow.
Contractors are slow,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
renovations
Praise
are
the Lord for
expensive.
that, right?
Woohoo! Yeah,
Yeah. We just
coming up
got
on a year.
2 extensions on 3 houses yesterday,
Love extensions.
and we have a process too. I don't know if you do this, but 2 weeks before someone leaves, we send them a note. Hey,
Yep. Reach out.
yep, that's the easiest
Yep.
booking
We
ever.
do it every time.
So Jim, we can talk nuts and bolts and but I think you're a big believer on mindset
Mm-hmm.
and limiting beliefs. So help my young Padawan here. Um, give us your take on that. What do you think if you had to, like, if you were talking to you 20 years ago, like, what would you tell yourself to get your mind right?
I mean, you got to get into the right room with the right people. Isn't that the beautiful thing about DealMaker, though?
Amen. Yeah,
I mean, you're doing that tonight.
that's right. And you're going to be there. And
So
Daniel's going to be there.
I mean,
so it's proximity.
all of this that's going on right now happened because of DealMaker.
That's right.
Like everything that's going on right now is because of DealMaker.
Yeah.
That's proof.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how do you combat, like, what's your, obviously,
You've got to be in the room. I mean,
Yep.
you got to be around like-minded people. Jim Rome said you are the average of those 5 people.
Yep.
So
Like that.
figure out who you're spending the most time with. And if you want to get better, then spend time with those 5 people. Same thing, like you're getting so healthy on me, Brian. So like
Finally,
if you were hanging out with people that ate, bad food and never worked out, that would rub off on you.
yeah, maybe.
If you want to
eventually.
be a great furnished rental manager and build a portfolio, then hang out with Brian, for instance.
Well, you're too kind.
You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
figure out that.
Right.
It's such an important thing. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? They didn't teach me that in engineering school. Did they teach you that?
No, I didn't learn. No, I didn't learn that. I tell you. So I think we talk about foundations on our podcast, right? So obviously we're all believers, right? That's the first. That's the most important
It is for
foundation,
me, yeah.
right? Is for me too. And then Jim always has a saying: you're one connection or one handshake or one meeting away,
One conversation.
one conversation away from meeting someone that's going to change your life, right? And I can think of several people that we met, that it totally changed, and that journey, man, you got to enjoy that journey. I mean, it's painful at times, but man, it's so worth it. I mean, would you trade anything?
No. What a blessing. No, I had no plans on none of this was on my bingo card.
Yeah.
For my life plans, my journey. No.
I thought I was going to retire as a telecom guy. Well, I guess I technically did retire as a telecom. I just didn't realize I was going to do it as soon as I did. I didn't realize it was going to be real estate. Never envisioned that I was going to have prostate cancer. But things happen. Tell us about is there any? Would you like to share anything that maybe I don't know about? Maybe something you guys went through.
Well, can we
Okay.
can we jump back to the mindset thing, because
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we kind of jumped over that,
Yeah,
and I
let's
think
go
that's
back
a
to-
huge,
Yeah.
like that's everything for me. And I imagine that's the same for a lot of folks. So like, and I understand kind of like moving past it because it's kind of in the past and it's so obvious to you. But for somebody like myself, that nothing is obvious at this point. There's no, oh yeah, of course that like none of that exists for me. So walk someone like me through like the trials, the tribulations, and the decisions that you had to make, because at the beginning, your why was survival. So what does that look like for you?
I mean, in corporate America, there was no mindset. Like you said, Brian, I mean, there was a lot of politics and everyone's, some people were self contributors. They didn't want to move up. Others of us that had bigger goals were trying to figure out how to move up the corporate ladder. So I kept getting promoted. So what, right? Does it really matter? And when I left corporate America, I started realizing that I need to be in the room around people that think bigger and people that think of others more than themselves as well, by the way. So getting into that room is really important. We were talking about like 2009, for instance. Those are really rough years. And one of the things I did to make it through those years, part of my survival was reading books like Think and Grow Rich. It's such a funny title, too, to
Yeah.
me. But I read that like once a month for like 10 months in a row.
Wow.
Okay. And it started to sink in like, he's right. Like what you think about, you bring about.
Mm.
And it's just such an important thing. So, um, coming through engineering school, Brian, I didn't read. Like we had textbooks on controls and, you know, electronics and all these physical sciences and things. And I came out thinking, I'm sick of this. I don't want to read textbooks anymore. And so I wasn't really a reader. But when I went out on my own and I left corporate America, I started reading and I read a lot. And I started reading mindset books and business books and fell in love with it. Like I've read tons of books. I'm going to give some books away tonight at DealMaker.
Amen.
And I ended up writing 2 books. I didn't plan on that. So I think like absorbing your mind into the right places is so important. If you've got negative thoughts, weed them, get rid of them. Stop watching the news, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Instead of watching the news, why don't you read? Build your library more than your TV and get into the right rooms like DealMaker Jackson and
There
get
you go.
around the people that are going to make you better and strengthen your mindset because this world will fill it with pollution really quickly.
You said something there about moving toward what you think about, right? Think about what you think about. So
What
one
you
book.
think about, you bring about.
That's right. What you think about, you bring about. Love that. Um, but the other, there's a book by Craig Rochelle called "Winning the War in Your Mind." Have you read it?
No, but I like them. I like Craig.
You need to read that book. I mean, he talks. He battled. He talks about his battle at the end. His wife, she kind of cements the whole thing. But and he talks about, you move in the direction of your strongest thoughts,
Mm,
right? And he also talks about a lie believed it's a lie believed as if it's true will be acted upon as if it is,
there you go.
right? Because your mind is so strong, right? You don't realize, you think about things and it's like, but I mean, that book, I've probably listened to that book 4 or 5 times in the last 2 years. And it really, really done me one. So if you struggle with mindset, that's a great book. Think and Grow Rich is another
I'm going to go
one.
back and listen to all of Jim Rohn's book.
Yeah, Jim Rohn.
I mean, he's the best mentor that I never met.
Yeah, there you go. The other one,
Helps
Mark
tremendously.
Mark Batterson
Love
has
Mark Batterson.
Win the Day,
Great.
Chase
I
the
love all
Lion.
of Mark Batterson's books.
Yeah, Win the Day is an
What a
incredible.
great writer.
Yeah, he's
His book
all
on
of.
prayer is really good too.
I've not read that one yet. So, but you'll see our library today. You can,
I love it.
if you need to pick one out and read tonight, we got plenty. So, but yeah, I mean, and you don't need like 1,000 books. I think you just need 40 or 50 of the right ones and just keep reading them because every time it's kind of like your Bible.
And you can do it on Audible too.
Yeah, that's what's awesome,
It's
right?
so easy.
Yeah, I'm kind of a OCD. I'm kind of my wife calls me a squirrel, but because I squirrel, so I'll be reading 1 or 2
I'm
books,
right there with you.
and then I'll listen to an Audible.
Yeah,
Like
me too.
I'm like
Me
reading or
too.
listening to 3 books at the same time.
Yeah, same
You
thing.
do the same thing?
Yeah.
Well, hey,
of course.
I'm in good company then. I thought it was just me. But yeah, I just I'll get in my car and I'll be like, I want to listen to this.
What speed do you listen on?
Oh gosh, I don't think I've ever touched the setting.
Oh, you can speed up your Audible if you want.
I've heard that. I've never tried it.
Give it a
That
little.
seems
Give it a little try.
that's extra for me. I don't know.
Listen extra
try
fast.
like
don't know.
20% faster. Like
All right.
try
All right.
1.2.
All right.
When we get into your car later, we'll hook it up and we'll try it.
All right.
You
Good
get through
deal.
your books a little faster.
So Daniel, did we answer that question?
You did.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
Thank you.
there's a lot to it. I mean, you got to just. We've also all got negative people in our lives.
Yes.
There's people in our lives who are not going to speak life into us, no matter what. And you got to be careful of those people because they'll steal your life. They'll also steal your dreams.
And some of those people have your last name.
Very true. That's a fact. So there's people that are not cheering for your success.
No,
Be
they're not.
careful of them. It could be family, it could be neighbors, it could be former colleagues. There's going to be people who think that you don't have what it takes to do real estate or whatever it is.
Yep.
They won't believe in you. They're going to say only the rich can get rich. They're going to say you're not smart enough. They're going to say you don't know enough. You don't know anyone. You can't do this. And they're going to use language like that often. And you got to really think through whether you want them to be part of your network because ultimately, Brian, as you know, your network
Is your net worth?
becomes your net worth.
Yep.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I am to a fault a massive dreamer, like massive, like the
Nothing
campus
wrong
that I'm
with
working
that.
on.
Yeah.
Like
He's
so,
got
but
big dreams.
I've received a little bit of feedback from people that they're like, this could never work in Mississippi. Like, why are you even wasting your time? And I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm so glad that I don't have that mindset. I'm going to work at my dreams until God shuts the door dramatically.
Mark
So
Batterson.
what do you say to people that are like that?
So Mark Batterson says, if your dreams don't scare you,
Right.
they're not big enough, right?
Good.
And let me just tell you, how many critics do you know that have been really successful?
Oh, none.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, right?
None.
So, I've had people tell me Airbnb works in Jackson and people want to come here. I'm like, well, yeah, it works everywhere, I mean, it's just like, but you have, Jim said it already, you have to disconnect the negative. You have to realize that what you think of me, Daniel, is none of my business. Okay. So I'm a recovering people pleaser, right? Okay. So we relate. So what sometimes, when people think about us can get in our head and
I would never admit that,
well, I'm admitting it on live
but yeah.
podcast, but it's, we all struggle with stuff. Right. And so that's why it's so important to be in the Word, be in prayer, start your day off with mission, orders from headquarters, God, I'm checking in, just, here's what's going on. And, today was my men's coach group that I go to. And, I got a little nugget this morning and had to apologize to my lovely wife about something I do when I drive. I am a not so good driver. I'm a critic of all of the drivers.
Okay, me too. I'm glad I'm not
Okay?
the only one.
I'm a recovering, and I decided, you know what?
Left lane driving, you can't do it. Sorry.
It just hit me today like that. I'm like, oh, doing this, and I'm like, man, now I understand why it's really a bother to her. She's been telling me, but I haven't been listening. But I had to hear it from another male that says this is why. But anyway, but you got to disconnect. I mean, would you agree? I mean, you got to
Yes.
You got to disconnect the
There's going to be
negative.
people who don't believe in you. Let's go back to like high school. I finished like in the middle of my class.
So did I.
I wasn't good. There's no way I should have ended up in engineering school, number one. But, they would have voted me like more of the unlikely to succeed class than the likely to succeed. So if a listener is out there and you're thinking you can't do it because you have got a ninth grade education, you can still do it. It doesn't matter if you're 70-year-old like Chuck Glover,
That's
or if you're
right.
24 like Zach Shepard in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yes.
With a huge portfolio.
Yeah. Met
It
him.
doesn't, age doesn't matter. Economic status doesn't matter. It doesn't
No.
matter what happened in the past.
Nope. Your past doesn't define your future.
Absolutely. It's in the
And
rear view mirror, not in your windshield.
And we talk about why, and I think back in my life, I was a big sports guy.
Me too.
I got cut my 7th and 8th grade year, and that was devastating. But I came back my 9th grade year, I wasn't getting cut again, right? We all know the story of Michael Jordan. When he was 15,
Yep.
he got cut from the varsity. He came home, he whined, he cried to his mom. His mom told him, you need to shake that off, and you need to work harder. And he never got cut again. So, other people, what you think of me is what you think of me is none of my business, right? Because number one, you were created for a purpose.
That can be difficult for me for some time.
Yeah. Well, we all can struggle with things, right? But that's why listening, reading, getting around the right people, being in the right room, like, people say, well, do you miss corporate America? Not at all. Do I miss some of the people? Absolutely. I still stay in contact with some of them, but I have more friends now in this business than I
By far.
ever dreamed I would have. I mean,
1,000 times more for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can call, I can text. I mean, if I had something, I could text Jim, and I know Jim's going to get back to me, right? He'll call me or text me, and he's a busy guy, right? I mean, but same thing with Wendy or anybody else that it's just, you have to build the relationships. And that's something God taught me in the corporate world. I was a connector, right? Everyone used to give me a hard time. Why are you so this, that, and the other with the vendors and this, that, and the other? And I'm like, because I just believe you just, you don't disparate, not disparage. You don't discriminate between, oh, they're a company employee or they're a vendor. No, they're people, right? And you can't, when you have a situation, crisis, like in telecom, like if you don't have a relationship, you can't get things done. And it's funny because people used to always come to me and go, hey, do you know so-and-so at this company? Or, hey, do you know so? But those same people would like criticize. Why are you like going out with the vendor? Why are you building? Well, because you build rapport when things are good. And then when the crisis comes, you pick the phone up and you get, and you get what you want because you help them get what they want. Same thing in this business, right?
Well, you are actively demonstrating to me exactly what that looks like, especially in the real estate industry. Like last week when we were working on our first deal, and I thought that I was pretty close.
You thought you were close.
Yeah, and
he didn't make an offer, Jim.
But you were on vacation, and I was sending. I mean, I went back through the messages. There had to be over 100 messages.
Yeah, you blew me up pretty good.
I did. But you were right there with me. Like, and what that did for me is, okay, this is how we handle this when 10, 15 years down the road, when somebody comes up to me that's like me, that wants to learn how to do this, I'm going to immediately revert back to, okay, well, maybe I don't want to do this right now. Maybe I don't want to respond to this message, but guess what? Somebody did this for me. Brian did this for me when I was first getting started. So it's only right that I return this. So what you're doing is you are creating a generational, like you are creating a path for me that I can very easily learn and replicate when I'm, more knowledgeable and have more experience under my belt. So thank you for that, because that meant a lot to me and continues to do so.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest challenges when I left my job, and Jim, maybe you had the same, is giving away yourself too much. And I didn't see that. My wife saw it, and she's helped me with that. But did you struggle with that at all? I mean,
no.
Okay. Oh.
I was literally in survival mode.
Okay.
Like I had to find deals and I had to wholesale.
Yep.
It just had to happen.
You're in crunch time.
And so it was in crunch time. Yes.
Well, when you got financially free.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself
always to this day? I always love to give.
Yep. I know you're the biggest go-giver.
Yeah.
By the way, you need to order that book.
Which one?
The Go-Giver.
The Go-Giver. Okay.
You need to read that book.
Bob Berg would be great on your podcast. I have interviewed Bob.
Have you?
Probably do it.
Maybe you could connect us.
Maybe.
It's a great book.
It is a good
Who's
book.
the author?
Bob Berg.
Bob Bird?
Berg.
B-U-R-G. Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
So, Brian, if somebody was thinking about leaving corporate America today, 2026, what were some things they should think about?
Well, so ironically, of two students that are trying to go down that road,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to have a plan, right? Like, I don't know. So Al Williamson was my mentor, right? And in
Mm-hmm.
2019, Al said, we got in his program, and he said, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write your resignation letter today, and I want you to carry it around in your wallet. And I carried that thing around for like what, 3 years, 4
Mm-hmm.
years. So I would say if you're really serious, write your resignation letter, right? This is like I'm burning the ships. I'm gonna write my resignation letter, and then you got to take action, right? You can't well, I'm kind of tired tonight. I don't really want to make any phone calls. Hey, I don't want to go set up furniture on Saturday. But you have to do that kind of stuff. After dinner, we're going to go finish this furnished rental. I remember one time we did like 2, 3 bedrooms and a 4-bedroom in a 30-day period. Man, that was work. And we didn't have a team.
Setup is so much work, isn't
And
it?
I hate setting them up.
I do too. Luckily, Cheryl
absolutely-
and my daughter are really good at it.
So we have people that do that. We do some, but I mean, but I would say like, if you really want to break free, you need a plan. You got to figure out, okay, do I want to do rentals? Do I want to do furnished rentals? Flipping is transactional. Selling houses, no offense to realtors or brokers, it's transactional.
Mm-hmm.
Got to keep doing it. And there's some good ones out there. Don't get me wrong. Stephanie Nix is going to be on our podcast.
I'm looking forward to that.
She's phenomenal realtor, but even a better creative finance investor, flipper. She's really good. She did a novation session for us in December last year. It was amazing. But I think you got to have a plan. You got to know your numbers. And, I think you have to draw a line in the sand. You got to focus on those numbers. Like, one of the guys we're mentoring, he's 50 and he wants to do what we did. And so we're like, well, what's your monthly have? Like, what do you got to have? And so I said, well,
That's your freedom number.
that's your freedom number. You don't need $1 million in a month. I mean, it's nice, but if you can get to a point where, like, let's just say, 10,000 is your number. And, so how many 3 or 4 bedroom furnished rentals would that be? Well, 3 of them, you could probably, on some of our numbers, we're getting 4,000, 4,500. Let's just say it was 4,000. Well, if you needed 12,000, like 3, and you're free, right? Is my math off?
No,
So if
that's
you can
easy,
generate,
easy engineering math.
right?
there.
And here's the thing that people don't realize, and I didn't realize this either, Jim, is like as a W-2 employee, I'm paying the highest
You are.
tax position. As an investor, at 12,000, I might not pay any tax on it
Right.
because I can use things like cost seg, and I can use
Depreciation.
yeah,
and
exactly,
Write off your interest, all those
Right.
good things.
right. So at the end of the day, you're paying at the end, if at all. So you are making more money. So you don't know that back then. But so, yeah, and then maybe you're like me. You're like, well, I want to make sure I have a little extra. So maybe you decide you want 4 houses, 5.
Well, once you have 3, 4, 5, you're not going to stop.
No,
Most people don't want to do nothing.
that's right. That's right. You're not going to stop. But then, at some point you're going to get to the other side of the equation where you're going to be like, okay, how much is enough? Right?
Right.
Because I'm a recovering deal junkie.
Yep, me
Like,
too. Me too.
there's not a house I see I don't want to buy.
I know, me too. Same
And so
thing,
my
same-
wife's got to be like,
Right.
no more.
How about some of the other barriers, like in mindset, like because corporate America can put golden handcuffs on you that
Yep.
can make you think like you can't leave this job. You don't have cash reserves. By the way, it's hard to retire from corporate
It
America
is.
with any kind of financial freedom.
Corporate America sounds awful. I'm just being completely honest here. It sounds
Well, Brian was in more
horrible.
recently than me.
Well,
That's why
so I
I'm
spent 28
asking.
years in tele, and I'll be honest with you. So I really liked what I did. But when you move around from company to company, like my best company, I'll say it on the air. I don't like when I was with Intellis in Virginia for 16 years. That was the absolute best place I ever worked, ever. I'm not
But you
going to.
had a boss.
Well, I did have a boss, but and that was fine, and we got along great, and we had a great relationship. We did some great things. It was awesome. God moved in great ways, and provided for our family. We had some great years, and um, but
What are the self-limiting beliefs that
well,
can slip in that
so
keep people handcuffed in
so
and never get that freedom?
yeah, so I think the big thing for me is if you get the wrong leader that doesn't want to be seen as favoring his own people and won't promote, won't do things. I got frustrated because I saw all these other groups like IT and care and promoting all these people like to senior director. And I'm like, man, I'm like killing it. I'm like, what's wrong with me? And some of that was probably, probably just maybe selfishness on my part, like, what about me, And I remember, when my boss came to me, he was our CTO, and he's like, hey, I'm going to promote this guy to VP of engineering. And I'm like, oh, he's going to be my boss. And I'm like, well, okay, well, what's my path?
Right. Now let me ask you this. Does Amy ever promote you
Does Amy promote me?
now that you're free?
My wife promotes. She's my biggest fan. She's awesome. She's
You
awesome.
don't miss that corporate structure and HR and all that garbage, do you?
No, I don't. I didn't want to play the COVID games. I didn't, none of that. It's just silliness.
And when you get free, like when you do leave your job and you leave your W-2, and all of a sudden, like the world opens up
It does.
because there's so much more deal flow
That,
and things like that, and so much more opportunity
so,
that
yep,
the doors were closed, now they're
yep.
open.
So, both Walter and Wendy told me, they said the opportunity cost of your job
Yeah.
is way more than you really even understand or can imagine. And it's so true. I mean, we had so much more deal flow coming in. And I would say, I left in October 1, and I'd say like the first few months, we were doing the furnished rental. And then I said, you know what? I got time to do more stuff. Right. So that's when I started on this caboose project. I don't know if you ever heard about my caboose project.
No,
But
tell us.
but we had these 5 lots. We put our contract in Clinton, and we were going to do these as short-term rentals. And I had done all this research. I had a buddy of mine in Florida who was going to fund like all of it, and we were going to do this rev share thing. We did this elaborate business case plan, had it all laid out. I learned more about cabooses. I knew all the costs, everything we had to do. This guy was getting ready to sell me 5 of them, and it was going to be awesome, right? And we had some issues with some of the ordinances in the city, and they pushed some things out, and some things were unclear, and it didn't manifest, right? But going through that process and having the time to do it,
It was fun.
oh, it was awesome. And I have it all documented. So if I ever wanted to dust it off and do it, I mean,
You could be an engineer again
I can.
of the train.
Yeah. So one of my big skill sets was project management, right? Putting
Yeah.
things in order. Like that was like one of my gifts, right? So, I did the nuts and bolts back in the day in telecom, and I don't know if you know this, Jim, but I have an associate's degrry. I didn't even finish college.
I had no idea.
Right? Yeah, community college of the Air
Love it.
Force. Yeah, that was it. I never, I had people telling me, well, you're never going to be an engineer because you don't have the piece of paper, and I'm like, well, is that what makes you an engineer or
Right.
doing the work, right? And well, you're not going to do. I've had so many people tell me what I'm not going to do. Now I
Well,
got to tell, and I'm going to tell
back to the mindset
back to the
again.
mindset.
Network.
So I'll tell you a funny story. She's going to shoot me when she hears this, but I'm going to say it anyway. My wife, don't ever tell Amy you can't do this.
Mm.
She was at Costco last week. She comes out. You have to show your receipt, right? And she lost one. And the lady goes, you can't leave here. And she goes, excuse me? She goes, you can't leave here. She goes, see ya. And she walked, ma'am. And she just kept on. She didn't run. She just, now she did call the manager after the fact when she got home and explained. But I just thought it was the funniest thing. I'm like, you tell her she can't do something, it's like saying sick him to a dog.
Well, that's a mindset right there.
Exactly. And that's my
And
wife.
you've got to believe that you can do it.
Exactly right.
And certainly Amy is not somebody you want to tell
She can't
that
do
you
it.
can do it.
No. Now don't repeat this. Let her hear this on the air first. She'll shoot me later. But it was awesome. I sent a family text. I sent it out and everyone's just dying laughing.
That's funny.
So it's a great story.
Savage.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. Let's see. We're getting now. We got a little time left. Well, any other comments or any other questions or thoughts? We've covered a lot of different grounds.
We have.
today.
It's been great so far. I guess really I'm just I'm still in that right now. My just kind of a update on me. So after that deal, my investment partner and I decided to get HELOC uh, loans so that we'd be able to, when a
Have
deal,
some capital.
right.
Yep.
And right now, your buddy over at Trustmark sent 3.99%, which is
Awesome.
freaking awesome. But right now, there's a little bit of fear associated with that, just because, well, what are they going to say about my credit and my past? So there's a little bit. I'm going to push through it,
Amen.
and we're going to get it done. But that's where I'm at right now, is a little bit of fear of, well, what are they going to say? Are they going to deny me? Or so what do you do, like, as a newbie when you have? I mean, obviously the answer is push forward, keep going, don't stop, no matter what. That sounds good, but how do you actually? What do you guys do?
I mean, you can't let fear steal your dreams.
Amen.
Right.
Number one. So you can't allow that to dictate your future. So you just work through it, see how it goes. If you need to make some adjustments, then make the adjustments. You can improve credit in 90 days, your liquidity, whatever it is. You can become bankable pretty fast.
Well, I'm over 700. Full
So
disclosure.
what are you worried about?
I don't know my past, like,
Fear is a liar.
my credit when I was in active addiction, and like the things that the bridges that I
I
kind of
don't
burned.
believe it'll matter.
No.
Okay.
Look, here's the thing, Danny. You've come. I don't know all your story. One day we're going to have you over there, and we're going to have that discussion. But
I'd love to hear it.
you have overcome a ton. And so one of the things I think, we taught this in our life class a couple years ago. About remember where God's brought you from. Don't ever forget. Remember those markers, right? And if He's done it before, He'll do it again. And don't let, like Jim said, don't let fear. That's when you got to get. When those things start chattering in your head, you got to go, stop. That doesn't come from God. 2
Yeah.
Timothy 1:7, right?
100%.
I mean, 2 Timothy.
I don't think you'll have any issue at all.
No, you're not going to have any.
I probably
no.
won't.
You have great
No,
credit.
you will not have any issues.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And you're going to get through this because everything, God will figure it. You'll figure
If
it out. He'll
there's
give you a path.
issues, you will figure them out.
And if you
Right.
don't know,
If you're surrounded with the right people.
bingo, you make a phone call, you make a text. Look, you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to know who has the answer.
Right.
And go to that person.
And you probably don't even need the HELOC.
Really?
Go through the process anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. We talked about that, right? Wendy was on here week 1, and what did she say? Money is not your hang up. It's not your
No.
issue.
Right.
It's never holding you up.
And when you don't understand that, when you first start, because I thought the same thing, I ain't got any money. That's why we started off with arbitrage, because we didn't have enough capital. We didn't know where to go get the money to buy houses, but we knew we could control without ownership, right? Al taught that. So, but you can do it. You're not going to have a problem. You're going to get through it. And if you don't, and if you hit a wall, guess what? You figure out how to go under, over, around, or through, right?
Well, I mean, the great thing is, my wife is a nurse, and she's, got it's much pretty great financial
Well, there you go.
situation right now. So, I mean, I'm turning a mountain into a molehill into a mountain, which I can do fairly quickly, but I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to push through, and it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah, you would really benefit reading that book by Craig Rochelle, Winning the War in Your Mind, because he talks a lot about these specific. He gives a lot of insight in his own life and how he overcomes, and daily, like you have to daily reprogram yourself, right? Because we all have bad days.
We all have self-limiting beliefs too. That is
Bingo.
just a self-limiting belief.
Exactly.
You're going to destroy it. You're going to crush it. You're going to move right past that.
Exactly.
Even though I don't think you even need the HELOC, because there's a lot of different ways to build your portfolio.
But is it good to have that?
Jim just told you, do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do it
Right.
anyways.
It's not required, but do it anyway.
Okay.
Do it anyways.
Okay.
Just so you know you can.
I will.
But we all have self-limiting beliefs, don't we?
That's right.
Like you said, who's going to possibly rent an Airbnb in Jackson, Mississippi?
Yeah.
And won't every tenant that move in tear up my place? Won't every stupid contractor steal my money? Won't every person that I invest with commit fraud? Like, we could just keep on going.
Yep.
Do you think of any more to add to that list?
No, but here's the one I think of. What if it works?
Yeah. Didn't we read that on the way in?
Yeah. What if it works?
What's on the back of the door over there?
What if
That's
it all
right.
works
What
out?
if it all works out? Well, there's another great book. You know Justin Morales, right?
Of course.
He wrote that book, The Abundance
Yeah.
Effect. Oh, I just read it again.
Yeah, it's good.
Dude, there's so many
You
nuggets
should
in
get
there.
Justin on.
Yeah, I don't know him that well, but I know some people that know him. I bet you.
I do. I could text him.
Yeah, Justin's a great guy.
Yeah. Let's get these limiting
Like-
beliefs out of here, guys.
That's
Let's get him out of here.
Get him out of here,
Yeah.
man.
Send him packing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, the world is your limit. Like,
Yeah.
and you can do. You said you're a big dreamer. I love that. Think big.
yeah, I'm looking at building a 100,000 square foot content creation campus here in
that.
Mississippi. So
There you go.
Uh,
Why not Mississippi?
we don't have it. There's not going to be anything like this anywhere on the planet.
There you go.
Of what I envision. So
There you go.
we're going to make it happen.
I want to come back and see it.
There
I'd
you
love
go.
for you to. I'd
So
love for you to.
put those building blocks together.
I will.
Yep,
I love it because this studio is freaking awesome.
it is
Yeah,
awesome.
This
This
is
is-
just like a small nugget of what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we have 5 minutes. So Jim,
Brian.
give Daniel, our Padawan real estate learner, a couple nuggets. Like starting out, what would you give him? Some nuggets.
Give
make,
to me.
Make offers. How's
There
that?
you go.
Okay.
Make offers, not excuses. Even better.
Papered offers, right?
Make offers, not excuses.
There
You can
go.
have excuses or you can have results.
Amen.
And if you're not getting enough deal flow, then you're not making enough offers. So solve problems, make offers, increase the number of offers, make low offers. I mean, you saw I took that phone call right on the way in. That was a
Yeah.
foreclosures are starting to come back. Have you noticed? So that was a foreclosure rescue. It's on the MLS at 340. I offered 180
There you go.
because I knew they owed 140 and it's foreclosing in less than 2 weeks.
There you go.
So don't be afraid to make offers. Make them low and make them often. Make them so they're uncomfortable. And be uncomfortable often, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you do that, if you start making offers, start with a goal of like one good offer a week.
There you go.
Even better is one a day.
There you
But
go.
if you want to take it easy and slack a little, do one a week. One good offer a week and then get to one a day.
And you know, the MLS is still a good place to find deals.
Can be.
I mean, just because we bought several, and just because that Marblehead house, they wanted 175 for that thing. I got it for 115.
And it was on MLS.
It was on the MLS.
Aren't you
So,
glad you bought that one?
Oh, I'm ecstatic I bought
offers.
that one. Yep. You don't get deals without all. Like I told you, you were excited. Well, I said no, you weren't close.
We were so close,
You
man.
gotta hey, when you paper that bad boy and hit send, then you're in the game.
Okay.
But you got to make offers.
And
It was
do
a-
consistently, regularly, all
Yeah.
the time.
It was a hell of a learning experience. I'll say that. I mean, it was a net win for me.
Good.
Honestly.
Hey, if it builds your confidence, that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
Everything is about confidence.
Builds momentum.
That's right. In sports, I was a big sports guy, right? So 90% mental, 10% all the little things. Best coach I ever had, Mr. Ray Tetrault was our JV coach in Amphi in Tucson. And that guy, he was like Jim. He would just exude confidence and inspire you to do great.
Don't you think that's how Argentina won yesterday?
I've not been following the World Cup.
Okay, so they were down 1-0 to England, and there was less than 5 minutes to go.
That's a
But
big
you got Messi and other people. I'm not a big soccer guy either, but I'm starting to learn this World Cup thing, Brian.
Okay.
And like I thought it was going to be game over, 1-0 England. They tie it up, and then like 2 minutes later, they took the lead and they won. And it went from like 1-0 England with a few minutes to go, 2-1 Argentina going to the finals. They did the right little things that whole game.
Yep.
Teamwork together, and they got the result they wanted.
That's awesome.
Well, I love that. But we are almost out of time. But before we do that, I really want to talk about your coaching program a little bit. Tell us
Okay.
a little
So
bit
do
about
I.
that.
Okay. So, Furnished Rental Profits, we are basically teaching people to do what we've done, right? Find the house, furnish the house, create the systems, and then most important thing is probably the marketing and the pipeline. And yeah, we're actively looking for the right people to work with and willing to, we're going to pretty much open up the curtain and here's what we do. We're going to give you some resources that we have, key contacts in the insurance space. And, we want them to be successful. We want to help them. Like I said, I want to throw you fish. I want to help you build a fishing pole.
Brian, I love midterm rentals.
I do too.
And so I think if I was starting over coming out and I had to do this all over, it wouldn't be wholesaling or flipping.
I
It would
agree.
be furnished rental, midterm rental.
Yep.
It would be somebody like you that I would seek out and do that with.
Praise the Lord.
Is that what I
Yeah.
need to do?
I think it might be.
Might be a
Maybe.
good option for you.
Because you just get, like you said, say, get 2, 3, 4, 5 of these.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if a good rental property is 300 to 500 in cash flow, well, what if you have a furnished rental doing 2,000, 3,000, or 4,000 in cash flow?
Okay, why doesn't everyone do that then?
Why doesn't everyone do it? You know why? It's between your ears because they don't think they can.
Oh.
Or they don't know how, or they don't know who to go to.
Oh.
I didn't know, right? I thought, okay, I can flip. I can be a landlord, or I can be a realtor. I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. I had no idea I was going to be in real estate 10 years ago. It was the first thing from my mind.
Okay.
So, Brian, how would somebody start to buy their first furnished rental? If they came into your coaching, like, how does that work?
So, we we work with them. I mean, make offers, right? I gave a guy a tip the other day. We used to do this Facebook groups posting, right? It's crazy how it works, but it works. You find deals, and we steered them to some people to for funding, but just teaching the basics. That's why you got to learn how to make offers at the right numbers. You get the right offer, and then you find that you find the money. You get the house done, then you start you rehab it, furnish it, and then make it go live. And we're going to teach you. We have you gave us or provided the AI listing tool.
GPT, yeah.
The GPT.
I forgot about that, yeah.
We use that for
Good.
B&B and Airbnb and Vrbo, and then we have our own systems and stuff we use for like corporate and B2B and insurance displaced families. Right, we're providing a huge service. But yeah, I mean, let's go find the house. Let's make sure there's no deferred maintenance. Don't go do a little rehab. Just rehab the house.
I always say
nice.
Rehab it all the way.
Yep.
Like, my goal when I rehab
100%.
a rental is 0 maintenance for 5 years.
Yep, I completely agree
And
with
I
that.
don't know that that's deep enough because I've owned 5, 10 years now, and I'm like, oh man,
You
back
don't
to
want.
starting to do maintenance again.
Well, here's the thing: when people walk into your furnished rental, in 30 to 45 seconds, they're sizing it up. How is this place? Is this place really that? It needs to have some wow factor. It doesn't mean to be luxury. It just needs to be nice, right? No deferred maintenance. No scratches on the walls, no flooring. Shoe mold. It's got to look nice, right? I mean,
Clean.
clean. Yeah. Well, and cleanliness is
clean.
next to godliness, right? So after that, cleanliness, right? You need good cleaners, right? You need processes. But I mean, we go through those. We call them the 4 pillars. We go through all that, and we've done some rehabs. We know how to do that. We can help you with that. We got some DSCR lenders. We can help them get out of the the private money or the hard money loan or the HELOC if you got to pay it back. We can help with that. We know so many people. We've met so many resources. So we're avail of that. I had a call the other day, and I was helping someone construct a deal, a sub 2 opportunity for them. And then, hey, well, I'm going to arbitrage. We started talking about adding in options and how to hey, well, ask for everything, and then see what they'll give you. Right? If you don't get, you don't ask. Or
You gotta
if
make
you don't ask, you don't
offers.
get.
Keep making offers.
Keep making offers.
Love it. Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Jim, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you tonight again at DealMaker Jackson. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys next week on the BrickFolio.
Awesome. Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks for having me.
The BrickFolio podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. We are not attorneys, financial advisors, or tax professionals. Nothing in this podcast constitutes professional advice. Always consult licensed professionals before making investment decisions. By listening, you agree we are not responsible for any action you take. Stay smart and do your own due diligence.